Hey guys, it's the Board Game Bully. We're here for another review, and just before we start this one, just want to put a little disclaimer. If you're trying to be a reviewer, you should try and go into every game you play with an open mind, with no expectations. But unfortunately, we are all human, and that is not the case. So full disclaimer here, I did not go into this game with a completely blank slate. Jungle Joust. Recent game night, we were playing Dune Imperium. Amazing game, mind you. And after we finished it, one of the guys there was like, how about we just play, it's like, that game was pretty full on, how about we just play a little, silly, fun game? It's like, yeah, that's cool, that's fine. Little bit of difference, change things up a little bit. And then he pulls out Jungle Joust, and, looking at the box, it looks little, it looks silly, it looks fun. Let's go see how it works. Alright, so here we have the board for Jungle Joust. Now the first thing you need to do is you need to take your two jousters and you need to set them up so they can stand up, because they're going to move along here. But I'm not doing that. So let's just put it on its side. There you go. And you obviously have a red one, which actually, if we're being accurate, is supposed to be there. So it'll start in the start pot, and this one here will start up here. Let's flip it around so we get, there we go. You also have to put together your jousting fence, which I'm also not going to do. So we'll just put it there, and we can use the power of our imagination. So you've got the board set up here, then you'll have your deck set up. You've got the draw deck and two visible cards, and you have the betting tokens here. So the object of the game is to have the jouster that you're betting on, well, that's under your control or your allegiance, win, but also to get the most points by betting, and you don't have to bet on the one that is your allegiance. So in a two-player game, one person will get a black shield, one person will get a red shield, and that tells you which jouster you'll have your allegiance to. In a four-player game, they'll be handed to you face down. It's secret information. However, it should become pretty obvious pretty quickly who's doing what based on how they play. So your hand will be made up of two cards. Now, on your turn, you do three different action phases. So the first one is play cards. Now you can play one or two cards, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to make these symbols here match 3 in a row. For every 3 in a row they match, you'll get a crown on that symbol, and that's going to be used for winning the joust and winning the betting. So I've just drawn two cards off the top. So what I would do, play this here. The only symbol that doesn't count for that is the arrows. Now every card you play has to match at least one symbol here. So here what we're doing is we've now got two fists in a row, two shields in a row, and two targets in a row. Now this other card in my hand I have here, I could play here. Now that is going to give me 3 targets in a row. However, it is going to break my it's going to break my shield streak. It's going to break my fist streak as well. So maybe not the best move, but let's say that I've done it. We would then get a red crown on here. I would draw back up to 2, or pick one card here that I wanted and draw from that. And then it would be the next person's turn. Now every time you play a card, all cards have an arrow on it. You move the base part up to be in line with the symbols. So then the black person would have their turn. Let's just draw 2 off the top, and let's just play it randomly and see if anything happens. No, so with the card, if the black player had these cards, there's nothing particularly great there for them. So you have to play at least one card. So let's say they play that. They move that up there, but they end their turn, and they end their turn with 1 card in hand. So next we move on to the betting stage. So this would happen before the black players had their turn. So I've played my 2 cards here as the red player. I would then go to the betting stage. Looking at these here, I'm betting on which symbol do I think is going to pop up the most? And as you can see, there are quite a few tiles. You've got one tile that will pay 3 points at the end, and another tile that will pay 2. Now we've already got 3 red symbols here, so I think it's pretty safe that I take this one here. And that there ends the betting portion of my turn. Now the next part of my turn is the betting on who's going to win. So if I think that mine is going to win, and I have a card in my hand, which right now I don't, but let's just say for argument's sake that this is the card in my hand, I can play this card face down, saying that I think the red team is going to win. Now, this card has 2 red symbols on it. So if the red jouster does win at the end of the round, I will get 2 points. Then it becomes the black player's turn. The black player does all the same thing. They move the cards. Now they're now looking at 2 black fists in a row. So they've decided, yeah, black fist might be good for me. And they don't have any, well, they do have a card. So let's just say they've got this card here. They've got this card here. It's not a very good card for them. But what this card could do is they could, on their turn, play it over here to try and interrupt some of the combos that I might have running. But for them to do that, I would need to finish with a card with a black arrow or a red shield. So you're not just playing cards to the jouster that you have an allegiance to, you're playing cards to either side to either try and make combos or end combos. Now, you'll do this for multiple rounds. After the final round, you will tally up all of the coins you have in front of you, and that person will win the game. Now, we've talked about betting, we've talked about picking the jouster that you think will win. However, we haven't talked about how a jouster wins. So this is where we can get a little bit bogged down. So to find out which jouster has won, after the 2 jousters have come in contact with each other, you need to tally up every symbol on the board. So first we're looking at crowns. We see who has the most of their coloured crown. If the coloured crown is on their side, they get bonus points for it. If the coloured crown of their colour is on the other side, they just get 1 point for it. Whoever has moved over this midline will also get points there. So you tally up all those points to determine which rhino has won the joust, and then that's how you determine who the victor is. You then hand out the cash money on the bets based on which symbols have the most crowns on them. So if I had the 3 red target and the 3 black target, I wouldn't get anything for the 3 black target because bet didn't pay off. I'd actually lose 1 for that, but I would get 3 for the red target. You do this multiple times until the end game. Then, like we said, you add up all the money and find out who won. There are tokens that will let you go into negative money, so it's not one of those situations where you need money to make bets, because you can go negative. And that's the game. I feel like I have explained it rather concisely. Much more concisely than the rulebook. So let's go talk about that. So, my experience with Jungle Joust. Jungle Joust is definitely not the sort of game that it presents itself to be. You know, it's this silly game where knights are riding rhinoceroses and crashing into each other. You know, the art and everything and the act of jousting, for me, at least brings up thoughts of Heath Ledger's A Knight's Tale. It's not that. We were playing the 4-player version, so there are hidden teams. You are playing cards, trying to make combos, while also trying to interrupt the other team's combos without revealing which team you're on, mind you, because apparently that's secret information, even though it's very obvious from the get-go who's on what team. And then the cards that you're using, you need to match the colours, but here's the problem. The cards are either red symbols with black highlights or black symbols with red highlights. That's not smart. That's a poor artistic choice because, you know, yes, I can tell the two apart, but like I can't just glance at them quickly and tell the two apart. I've really got to study them. And then you're betting. And I can bet on symbols, I can bet on who wins, I can bet on who moves the most, I can bet on this, I can bet on that, I can bet on that. And then once the betting's done, then we've got to see who wins. And who wins is depending on who has this icon and that icon and who moved further on the track. And it's a silly game where rhinoceroses are jousting and there are literally 600 things I have to figure out at the end of each round. That's not little. That's not fun. That's not silly. That's overly complicated. So, how does Jungle Joust stack up? Well, I've got the scores right here. We forgot to do them ahead of time last video. Not this time. So, rules. Rules, I am giving a 5. This rule book is a disaster. And the reason the rule book is a disaster, because the rules are a disaster. There are far too many things that you can bet on. There is hidden information that doesn't need to be hidden. There is combos and all this stuff that doesn't need to be in a silly jousting game. And when you try and explain that in the rule book, I could see as I'm going through this rule book, I could see like just the looks of realization on the owner of the game himself. Was like, this is not what I thought or wanted it to be. So the rules, 5. The artwork, look, the artwork's fine. Like the little stand-up thing's cool, the little riders are cool, but the graphic design choices, like there is too much black. The red symbols have black on them, the black symbols have black on them, there's black everywhere. Why red and black? I get it, Black Knights are cool, but let's just go, let's take the black off the red armor. I get it, it looks cool, the symbols look cool, but then when I'm looking at the black symbols, what am I looking at? I need to be able to look at this stuff quickly. I've got secret information. I'm supposed to hide which team I'm on. And you've got me here, I'm studying, oh, is that red or is that black? Oh, I don't know. Well, it's not very hidden anymore, is it? But the stand-ups are cool. The standees are cool, the fence is cool. So, and the artwork on the cards is, you know, it's pretty cool, it's not offensive. So we give it a 7. Accessibility. This is the lowest score I think I've ever given a game for accessibility. I give it a 3. I would not want to teach this game to someone again. Whether it was their first game or their 3,000th game, I would not want to teach this game to someone. Because this game in this little box with this cool, fun-looking rhinoceros on the front of it is a lie. You pick this up, you're like, this is going to be fun. What's it say on it? Ages 12 and up, 30 to 45 minutes? No, it's not. There's so much going on in this game. There's so much to keep track. The betting, when you're organising who's won what, takes so long. And then you've got to calculate who's won by looking at all these symbols. Takes way longer than it needs to. You know, and then you've got to do it 3 times. No, you play this with someone new, they're never going to play a game with you again in their life. 3 for accessibility. Gameplay, do I want to play it again? No, I don't. Will I get up from a table and leave if someone pulls it out? No, probably not. So it falls right in the middle there, 5. So that gives us a total score of 20. Divide that by 4 and we are looking at a 5 out of 10 game. Look, I'm going to be honest. This game was not what I wanted it to be. It was not what I was sold on. Also, my Uber Eats delivery was just cancelled. So I'm a little testy. So if I've missed something, let me know in the comments. If I'm being too harsh, let me to go have eat something. Tell me to go eat something and then come back and review it again. But I think I'm on the money with this one.